Welcome to how to enter a new customer into Mkey. We have our Mkey up. We have a new cell. We go there. I'll hit it. You hit it on yours. And then we get the customer info screen. Best to lift the customer up by name or phone number. I prefer name. And so we'll make a name up. And there's nobody by that name here. So we'll start with the second name. We will immediately grab a rewards card and scan it and activate the card for the customer. Then we will move to, may I have your home phone? Great. And do you have a cell phone? I sure do. Great. Now have your mailing address. The more information you get, the better off you are, but mailing address is very important. Most people will give us a post office box, especially women, because they don't want you to know where their house is. So we'll enter a post office box. And I'm just strictly making this up, but we would ask the customer for it. Then we enter the zip and simply hit tab. It populates the city and the state. Then we get the email address, and the way to do that is say, may I have your email? Or the easier way is, and your email, sir or ma'am. Most of the time they'll give it to you. Very few people turn you down. When we're training, we always say, if you are afraid to ask for an email, you're not going to make it because you can't sell. You'll be afraid to ask for the sell. From here we go to advertising source. You have to fill out advertising source in order to check out at the end of the process, and this would delay them checking out. So it's very important you just go ahead and get that information now, which involves around another open-ended question to the customer. And Mr. Q, how did you hear about us today? Well, I got a flyer in the mail. Great. If you notice anything about Mr. Q, really likes his dogs, put it in there. If you later obtain the dog's name, put that in there. That gives you something else to talk about. If Mr. Q is a minor, you might put his parent's name here. And from there, we go to vehicle info. We're going to obtain Mr. Q's, at this point, we're going to walk with Mr. Q out to his car, talk to him about the weather or whatever. We're building a relationship. We're going to ask him for the tag number and the mileage. Once we get the tag number, we go to QuickVin, not search. Search only searches the Mkey database. QuickVin, however, goes and determines what the customer was. You have to get the state right, however, in order to make this work. So if the state's different from the state you're in, then you verify which state. And then it'll give you the VIN, the year, make, model, engine size, and everything you need to know about it. And if you read the wrong customer, it's very simple to go back. Change the tag number. And then you change the vehicle, still using QuickVin. Again, we got information here on it. We looked at the wrong vehicle. This can happen a lot if you go out there and they say, I'm in the white truck, if you go out alone, but you get the vehicle. You enter what kind of vehicle it is here. This is a pickup, a half-ton pickup. This gives us all of our information in regards to Carfax. Now we want to know when the state inspection is due. Hopefully we noted that when we're in there. This gives us, through Mkey, the ability to contact this customer again later. And then we're doing an oil change today, so we know that we're going to have to get a hold of this customer in 3 or 4 months. Again, another way to contact the customer later. This is your marketing job, collecting this data and making sure all the data for both the customer and the vehicle are correct. And this is the way to ensure that your marketing will work correctly. From there, you move to estimate items. The customer came in for an oil change. You go to sales packages. You select the oil change, and these, as you see, the categories are set, so you just go to the oil ones. What kind of oil have you been using? I've been getting a synthetic blend. Great. We'll click on synthetic blend. After you selected sales packages and clicked on synthetic blend, it highlights it. You can double click and it will populate, or simply hit select. And then it populates the thing. We did not enter the mileage. Go back and verify our mileage. Put that in. Very critical as we report to Carfax. We have to have the mileage in order for them to trade their vehicle in with a decent Carfax report. And we get our information through Carfax. So we can transition back to the estimate. We have this on it. They have a generic oil filter here, so we can go ahead and print if we wanted to and get the customer's signature. But it's better to go to ISE Online, go to Parts, Ignition and Engine Filters, and this is the parts side. We don't have any labor. We're using the labor in the sales package, so we have marked nothing here, and we simply hit Next. You'll notice when we get the catalog, one thing, it says local inventory at the top. That means what's in stock in your Mkey inventory inside your Mkey. The catalog's laid out pretty much alphabetically: air filters, cabin air filters, fuel filters, all the way down to oil filters. We'll select the oil filter and continue to scroll, because then we'll get all the pertinent information. A, what's the recommended viscosity? And B, what is the recommended capacity? You'll see it's 6 quarts. All of our oil changes are standard oil filter, which this is, and up to 5 quarts. So we'll need to sell an additional quart and inform the customer. Before we get out of Mkey, we'll hit, or ISE, we'll hit Save, and then we'll hit the service intervals at the top of the screen. Since we've entered the mileage, it gives us the next available service interval for that mileage, and we'll hit Next. Air conditioned, yes it is. Auto trans, yes it is. And we'll do a 6-month service. We know at least it hasn't been serviced in 6 months, or we can assume as much. Now, it will give you everything as part of a parts, but what we really want is this here, where it says print interval. Studies show that if we print this interval with every ticket, it increases our ARO by $35. But we have to print it when the customer comes in, when we're writing them up. And it's very simple to pull this out. You see, it recommends spark plugs and replace the transmission fluid. Very good. Replace the filter. Very good. All of these things are good labor. Inspect the wipers or the wires and the PCV valve. Those things that this can be cleaned. Very seldom do they go bad, but they're cheap. You can replace it. Inspect the spark plugs. These are opportunities to sell more things. So we would hit the print, and then it will print. Then we hit Save and return to Mkey, the earlier items, which is the exact filter, and all the service information will go here. Now we have this generic filter here. We need to highlight, and hit delete. And on this filter, we need to order it. Since we did not have it in stock, actually it said we did have it in stock, but here it says we don't, so we'll select a vendor. We'll select the reference number, which is just the estimate number. And we'll get the vendor invoice number and the warranty filled out. Very important to put warranty on everything, even if it's none. This prints on the invoice. It eliminates any communication errors. So we'll wait on the vendor invoice until we get it. Once we enter the vendor invoice, this yellow will go away and we can check the ticket out. Vendor options, we'll hit order on this. Select and hit order. This is a generic one, but if it was a real Mkey, then it would say ordered, and it would say the date and time. Very important when you order something and don't get it, you can simply pull the screen up and say, I ordered it this day, this time. All right. This concludes our lesson for a basic work order in Mkey. Thank you for listening.